Oh yeah, The Boss Baby definitely should have gotten nominated for an Academy Award instead of this movie. And that's the truth.
They've always called me a daydreamer.
A boy all the way from Kore is here. He's asking for your hand in marriage.
Thank you for coming to find me.
In This Corner of the World is a 2016 Japanese animated film written and directed by this Japanese name here, and is based on the manga of the same name. It centers around a clumsy and absent-minded young woman named Suzu, who is forced into marriage and begins to live with her new family. She takes care of the house and adjusts to being married to someone that she only met once when she was very young, though she doesn't quite remember it. It follows her journey in surviving World War II before and after the events of Hiroshima. One can easily compare this movie to Studio Ghibli's film Grave of the Fireflies because the two follow similar stories and events, but In This Corner of the World does its storytelling differently, and one that I like a hell of a lot better. The animation in one way is very simple, but in other ways, very unique. The character designs are simple and the movements of them are realistically slow. But the animation greatly excels in the small moments where the style of animation changes for a little bit. In these moments, I was taken aback on how it used these moments of different animation to tell its story or to deliver the emotional weight of a particular scene. This simple animation mixed in with these unique moments really helped deliver the soft tone of the story and its smooth atmosphere that the movie is trying to create, which I'll talk about a little bit later. The backgrounds also look amazing, and I love it when the characters just sit down and look at the things that surround them. This movie is also praised for greatly recreating Hiroshima, which was damaged by the atomic bombing of World War II, using old photos, documents, and the memories of living people. And the movie is very admirable because of that. These characters are also very enjoyable and memorable. They all go through real troubles and conflicts of the time, and you really feel their struggle. Because the movie shows the characters experiencing times of happiness, it makes it harder to watch when they go through moments of trauma. Suzu is a great female lead, and even though she is very clumsy and absent-minded and makes mistakes easily, she never lets it stop her. She's hard-working and always wants to help others and actually cares about the people in her life. No matter how much the war brings her down, she will never stop continuing to move on and live her life. The chemistry between her and her new husband is actually pretty strong, and it's nice to see their bond grow closer as they spend more and more time together. It was a very sweet relationship that brought some soft moments against the harsh scenes of the war. I also really like the movie's soft tone in telling the story and its smooth atmosphere and pacing. The movie is actually more lighthearted than you would expect it to be. There are a lot of scenes of just the characters being characters. They laugh together, fight with each other, work together, and struggle together. And this lighthearted tone doesn't insult the events that happened in Japan during World War II. If anything, it makes these characters and what they go through more realistic and beautiful. Something that I didn't like about Grave of the Fireflies, besides its really unenjoyable characters, was how much it tries to hit you with so much sadness. Now, of course, it's appropriate to what the movie is trying to convey, but it becomes very overwhelming at times. When a character dies in Grave of the Fireflies, the movie is like, the loss of innocence. Feel so bad about this character. When a character dies in this corner of the world, the characters grieve and then move on. That's what happens when your country is at war. When telling a war story that follows the citizens of the country, you don't have to make everything so freaking dramatic. Even in war, people still have to live their lives. And this storytelling and smooth atmosphere and pacing makes the events of the characters more enjoyable to watch than if they were trying to step up the drama in every single scene. In the film, the nature and traditional culture of Japan are described and are shown very accurately, and it contrasts very well with the cruel and irredeemable tragedies that are brought because of the war. Though everything that happens to our particular characters are fictional, the events and backgrounds of the story are based on facts and real incidents that were researched by the production staff. And Yeah, if you know about Japanese history while watching the movie, you will be greatly rewarded in knowing about the little things that the characters are talking about that a general viewing audience might not know about. Like what happens in Manchuria because of Japan's invasion and the fact that brothels were a popular thing for sailors when they were resting in the country. I do have some minor negatives, but they are really only nitpicks.
First is that some scenes do lag on a little bit. The slow pacing makes these scenes go on a little bit longer than they should, even if this pacing is effective towards the movie. One or two of these scenes should have been shortened or cut. It's also hard to distinguish characters from each other in the beginning. From time to time, I found myself having to rewind a little bit to figure out which character I was watching. I like how the animation is simple, but it causes the characters to look the same from time to time. And the movie's use of jumping forward in time in random parts doesn't really help either. But then again, all of these are just small nitpicks.
In This Corner of the World is a beautifully animated story about a woman and her new family living through the events of World War II, especially through America's invasion and frequent bombings of the country. And because the characters are enjoyable and the storytelling has a very soft tone to it, it makes the film fun to watch, even with the super sad stuff that happens in the film. And that's what makes me really love this movie as opposed to Grave of the Fireflies. This film really got robbed from a nomination in this year's Oscars, and I will probably never get over it. I'm going to give In This Corner of the World an A. People need to see this movie. It's a great experience, so go and support this movie. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to find the people who gave the goddamn Boss Baby an Oscar nomination instead of this one. See ya!